I'm here at Christie's auction house in New York City, and Christie's is gearing up for a big wine auction this Friday. It could bring in $1.5 million, and I'm joined now by Per Holmberg, who's the head of wine at Christie's. Per, it's great to see you here.
Thanks for having me, Scott.
So let's start off with some of the big lots in this auction. We've got the DRC Richburg here. It could bring $35,000. That's what it could go for, though you do get 12 bottles.
You do. You get all 12, all by yourself. So you have 12 bottles of Richburg, 1990 from DRC. It's a wine that's coming into drinking now, and it's superb to start drinking them now. It's going to last for another 10, 15 years easily, and it's $35,000. It's almost a bargain.
And talk a little bit about the flavor of this wine.
So this is now a wine that's going into sort of its secondary stage of its life. You know, initially when it was released, it had more fruit-driven berries on the palate, but now we're getting some more of the secondary aromas. You're getting rose petals, you're getting leather, you're getting underbrush, and things that you look for in a well-aged Burgundy.
And speaking of age, how old are some of these bottles here?
So this is from 1990, so these are just coming up on 27 years since they were harvested. We have another lot of Romane-Conti from DRC, which is even smaller production, where we have 3 bottles for 30 to 40,000. That's a young wine, and they're going to last for 30, 40 years easily.
And on what type of occasion would I be drinking a wine like this?
Well, we have holidays coming up, right? We have the 4th of July, for example, if you don't want to drink American wines. But these are special occasion wines. These are not your Friday night with pizza wines. These are, even for the hard-nosed collectors, they save these for special occasions. All
right, and there's another lot for $40,000. You get 3 bottles. It's Domaine De La Romane-Conti. Tell us about that one.
Right, so that's the Romane-Conti. It's 3 bottles of the famous Romane-Conti vineyard, which only is about the size of a football field, and that's very rare. We don't see a lot of those.
And flavor on that one?
It's going to be similar. That's in the younger stage of its life, so it's going to be more fruit-driven. It's going to be more berries and not so much of the secondary rose petals and leather and underbrush that we're looking for.
And what makes a 5-figure bottle of wine? What's so special?
Scarcity and demand, just like we see for other things in life. The Richburg is made in 15,000 bottles. The Romane-Conti, they make somewhere around 1,500 to somewhere around 2,000 bottles for any given vintage. So it's very small production, very limited, and we know it's not available a lot.
Now, this auction is on Friday. Talk about the typical buyer. Who do you expect is going to buy these wines?
This would be for the collectors that look for the very best, that comes from very good provenance, they're in good condition. As you can see here, these are great examples of what you would look for in a 1990 bottle of wine.
And are you noticing people, more increasingly investing in wine, maybe in addition to some of the money they have in the stock market or in the real estate market or in the art market?
I mean, for us, the running joke is a very liquid asset, right? It's very easy to get rid of. But wine, unlike, say, a great painting by Picasso, you don't buy it on Friday and put it back into the market on Monday. You have to wait a certain time. Wine is a little different, where you can come in and out of certain aspects of your portfolio in different ways. But we see there's some people are investing and some people are just buying for pure pleasure.
Now, aside from wine, we also have some fantastic spirits here, one of which is this Brewer Whiskey. It's 30 years old?
Yep. This was distilled in 1972, and they bottled it in 2002. It was released a few years ago. This is what we call its cask strength. As you can see here, the level of alcohol is a little higher than we normally see, which is around 40% alcohol, and this is very rare. They don't really release Brewer that often anymore, so again, it's something we don't see often, and our collectors come look for it.
And 30 years old, that's pretty rare too, right?
It's very rare, yeah. And so something, when you drink a spirit that is that old, is much more, it's not as harsh, it's much more supple and fine and refined, and a little bit more easier on the palate.
And also Glen Grant you have here too?
Yes, we have. This is the, for example, this is the Scapa Old Malt from 1974. This up here is the 40-year-old Glenfiddich Rare Selection. They only made very, very few bottles of that. The Royal Lochnagar, it's from their Select Reserve, which is very hard to find these days. It's not imported into the United States anymore, so we don't see much of that. So we have a great selection of Scotch whiskey. We have what we call our taste selection, which is cognac with a different painted bottles for the different seasons. We also, we mentioned earlier, we have a very interesting vertical of Petrus, which is, we don't see very often. Petrus is a famous Pomerol estate. It's 27 bottles from 64 to 2010. It's not a complete vertical, but almost. The wines are in very, very good condition, and we believe that will catch between $27,000 and $38,000 for them.
And the prices for some of these whiskeys here, what do they go for?
They will go from anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500. The Brewer is $1,800 to $2,400. We have the Glenmorangie, which is finished in different woods from different wine regions. You have the Tin l'Hermitage from the Rhone Valley. You have the Côte de Nuit from Burgundy. You have port, and you have claret, and you get Malaga wood. Those are just some examples. We have obviously over here like the Valhalla collection by Highland Park, which is with all the Norse gods, which is another thing, the complete collection. We don't see that often.
And talk a little bit about the taste of some of these whiskeys.
Well, whiskey is tasting a little bit different than you do with wine. So you have a little bit more caramel, you have a little bit more smokiness when they have the peated scotches, right? So, but it's a stronger alcohol. So you know, personally, I don't like to put too much ice or water in them. I try to drink them neat because you really get the true spirit, sort of say, of the whiskey. But you know, you're going to get smokiness, you're going to get caramel, you're going to get seaside. You know, these are from the islands up in Scotland, so they're definitely plays part of the flavors.
All right, so we got some fantastic whiskeys here worth what, $1,500. I brought a bottle of whiskey from my own collection. I'm going to show you right now.
All right, let's see what you got.
What would you say this bottle of Jack Daniel's is worth?
Well, this is the regular release I can see from Jack Daniel's. This one, it would be hard to say, but if you put it up on auction on Friday, somewhere between $1 and $2, I think you would get for it.
So not $1,500?
No, not this one, not this one.
All right. Per Holmberg from Christie's, thank you so much. It was great to see you.
Thank you, thanks for coming.
Thank you.